Going backwards. Gotcha. All right. Hey, everyone. It's Torrie, founder of The Mighty Dames. I'm back for another roll call interview. Today, I am joined with Angie. How are you today?
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I'm doing great.
All right. Thank you for for agreeing to do this with me. So let's go ahead and give everyone your quick rundown, how long you've been training jiu-jitsu, your belt, where you train, all that jazz.
So I am a black belt under Phil and Rick Migliarese in Philly. I train at Bound Studios. I have been training 8 years, full-time. I think that's important to note with the 8 year thing. I am also the co-founder of the Jiu Jitsu Candle Co.
Yeah.
Which is a fun new kind of little project on the side. I think that's the main.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Okay, so I always ask everyone, like, what got you into the sport of jiu-jitsu?
So interesting story. So my husband is also a black belt, and he was training for about 8 years before I started training. He was actually a brown belt when I started.
Okay.
Totally disinterested in jiu-jitsu. When he talked about it, I'd be like,
this again.
Yeah, and he would like constantly be like pummeling for underhooks, and we were hugging, and I just didn't want anything to do with it. So he needed a ride to a seminar. He was teaching a seminar in a school in Jersey, and I don't know, for some reason I just didn't think that girls did jiu-jitsu. Like, even I was in my 30s too. It's not like I was like a young person. I mean, I was just like, oh, I don't know, it's just like no chicks.
It's a boy thing.
Yeah, and there was just this pocket of women in front of where I was sitting. And they were working on this like half guard sweep, and I'm like watching him do it. And then I was saying to the girl, I'm like, oh, I think your foot's in the wrong spot. Like, here's me, like no training whatsoever.
Excuse me, man.
Never wore a gi. I'm like, oh, I think your foot's in the wrong spot. And the girl's like, oh, he must teach you so much stuff. And I was like, nah, I don't really. And then that night I was like, I think I'm gonna come in and like just mess around with jiu-jitsu, right? Like, I just want to do like 1 day a week, self-defense stuff.
That's how they get you.
That was it. I did 1 day. The first week I went in, I did 1 day. The second week I did 3 days. And then within 6 months, I was training 5 days a week, constant, just crazy stuff.
I swear it's always like, let me just try it out. It may, just be a fun little thing I do on the side. Yep. And then it takes over your entire life.
Yeah, I mean now, so it worked out great in the long run, but I got laid off as soon as I got my blue belt. I got laid off from my job. So I was a pastry chef, and I just was like, I'm just going to train. I'm going to get unemployment. It's going to be awesome, right? I spent this whole summer training.
It's literally my new COVID.
Yeah, exactly, right? Like, I'm just going to roll. It's going to be so great. And then when it came time to go back to work, because my unemployment was running out, I was like, oh, I got to get a job that lets me train. Like, now, and then I was so invested because I ended up being off almost a year. I was like, I think just shy of getting my purple belt. And I was just like, forget it. I have to find a job that's like part-time or something. And then eventually I quit my job completely and I just work at the gym. So pretty much
there you go. Okay.
Everything upside down. Like right now, obviously my husband and I are both out of work. There's no school. We still in Philly, we can't have jiu-jitsu. So
oh, really?
Yeah. We were supposed to go. So I don't know if Florida's doing the same. Like, we have like a red, yellow, green.
We have phase 1, 2, and 3, but Florida's a hot mess. So you cannot.
I know, you guys' cases are.
You cannot listen to. I think we just had 10,000 yesterday.
Yeah, I don't even think PA hit 10 at all. I'm not sure. I know in Philly we were topping out like 2,000 cases a day, and like right now we're like around 100. So
we're like maybe 4th in the country right now in COVID cases. I mean, it's bad here.
Yeah.
Man, COVID has changed the game.
It's different.
So do you guys have any thought? You talk about the color system of when your gyms will be able to open back up?
So, we were supposed to go green on July 3rd.
Okay.
And that came and went. And they said they wanted to have less than 80 cases per day before they were going to allow indoor dining.
So you can't even do indoor dining there.
No, there's no indoor dining yet. And then there's no indoor exercise. So like Planet Fitness isn't open. Like any number of like just regular fitness gyms aren't. You can't have like dance classes. Like
you guys are much more shut down.
Yeah, our location it's the last section of stuff that's still closed, but our location shares, we're in the same building as a dance studio, and they're not allowed to be open because they have, indoor classes. So,
man.
So they said in green, but then I don't know what kind of like stipulations we're going to be under, because if they have, so right now, I don't know if this is true for Florida, but in Philadelphia specifically, there's a mask mandate. So any indoor activity, you have to wear a mask.
So with your gyms being closed, is your gym doing like the Zoom training? Have you tried any other adaptive ways to train?
So we're not doing anything. So I think, so
I have to ease into that. Like,
it's really hard because, so first let me just explain that my husband and I run the Center City location. There's 3 main locations in Philly.
Mm-hmm.
We are not the owners. There's 2 owners, the guys that I got my black belt from.
Mm-hmm.
And we have hundreds of students within the 3 locations.
Mm-hmm.
So I think what happened originally is we kind of were in this, like, it's only going to be a couple weeks.
Yeah.
I don't want to set this whole thing up and then we won't be able to do it and this and that and this. So we have a Facebook group. Some of the instructors are posting videos, things like that. We kind of keep everybody in the loop, but it's just really hard because now it's been so long.
Mm-hmm.
And, I just don't know how effective online learning is for.
It's not for everyone.
It's not for everybody. Like me, like I'm not a video watcher, right? So like I don't go on YouTube and like watch. I mean, sometimes I'll watch competition footage or something like that, but I just don't learn that way. I got to feel it.
Yeah.
Like show me a move. I go to class. I got to drill it. I got to feel it. And then I got to roll with it and see if it's going to work. Right. So for me, it's like when I put that, like just those feelings in my mind, like, all right, if I'm watching a class, I'm like, oh, a lot of people don't, like, I'm lucky enough to have a person at home that trains. Right. Yeah. So he and I could be part of the class and like get something out of it, but just feel like most people don't have anybody. Like, I mean, how many people are going to be able to grab their husband or wife and be like, babe, let me try this. Let me try this trick on you real quick, Yeah. So it's just hard. I mean, I think there are people, that are successful with it. And I think it's great. And I just think it really just depends on the school. And also I just think our student body is just too big.
Gotcha. Yeah. That's a huge, that's pretty.
Yeah. I mean, I think at Center City, we probably have about 150 like active students, which is a lot.
Yeah.
It's a big school. It's a small school, but it's a lot of people.
Gotcha. Okay. You're seeing people who are trying to do different types of learning. I think when it started, when we first were like shut down, there was a big surge of everyone trying to do the learning, and kind of like petered out.
I just don't know how much people really want to just watch someone else do jiu-jitsu.
It's, you know what? I will say, for like as into jiu-jitsu as I am a terrible person for watching jiu-jitsu.
Same.
It's not that it sounds bad saying, but it's like, it's not that interesting to watch for me unless it's
I totally get it.
Unless it's a certain thing I'm watching and like a breakdown. Yeah. But like I have people at our gym who will literally watch hours of jiu-jitsu.
Oh, my husband, he watched jiu-jitsu all day, every day. I'm like, I'm still so bored by this. Like, I'm a black belt. I don't care. I'm like, I got to see it for myself.
Yeah, I have to be active in it. Like I've been watching like a bunch of old wrestling and like sumo wrestling clip that I can watch for hours.
Yeah.
But like watching jiu-jitsu, I have to be in a certain mindset. Like, ooh, I really want to learn, or I really want to watch this person do this, watch the progression of their game. But like how I can just go and watch, like, like this weekend, I'm going to watch probably like 7 straight hours of MMA. I could never do that for jiu-jitsu. Gi. I know the sport's they're finding ways of making it more entertaining.
Yeah.
Can't do it. I'm kind of a hypocrite because like I want to see action, but at the same time I have no problem stalling someone out.
But like you get it, yeah, of course, because it's
so like game. I get it, but like it sounds like I don't. But like no one has to watch me either. I have no problem
different in competition than it is in like training. Mm-hmm. It's like, and when you're training, it should be about practicing moves, not about winning, right? So it's like, if you're going to compete like that, I don't really see a problem with that. I mean, if you're talking about making it exciting for viewers, so it's probably not the most exciting thing to do, but
I'm not.
That's a strategy, right? It's a winning strategy, in fact, especially for IBJJF. Mm-hmm. So,
especially the tournament system.
Yeah.
It's like you have to go to the next level or you're done. I don't even know what I would look like in a super fight scenario, because it's like, Okay, let's see where we're gonna go with this.
Like, I don't know. Yeah. You know, it's interesting. It's one of those things. I think I don't know if jiu-jitsu will ever be exciting to people that don't do jiu-jitsu.
Well, I think that's combat sports in general.
Yeah.
We all live in this bubble where we know it's like it's so exciting, but the average person does not want to choke each other for hobby. I was trying to explain, like I got into jiu-jitsu because I was an MMA fan. And like I thought MMA was like, oh my God, this is so awesome. And then I look at my mom, my sister, like, what are you watching? Like, I don't watch this. This is terrible. But like we get so like wrapped up in it that we think that like, of course this is gonna catch on and no, it's really not. It is for everyone within jiu-jitsu, but it's not for everyone.
No, and I mean I think that's sort of like
any sport,
but especially a combat sport. You know, and then if you're talking about MMA specifically, like I have not met one single person that isn't a little bit messed up that wants to get punched in the face. It's as someone who trained Muay Thai just as much jiu-jitsu and Muay Thai is the same amount of time, it's like you got to be like a little bit weird.
Well, like that's where I have friends who are MMA fighters and they always get like, oh, they try to put us MMA fighters in a certain line. I was like, okay, well, let's just think about this logically. This is not a smart career choice, like health-wise. Boxing, all that. You're literally putting your body online. And if you go even like for either like football, that's not a smart sport. I think we are risk adverse. Like some people, I think that's a really great quality. Like I give everyone the props in the world who actually want to fight because like you are putting yourself in such a position of like sink or swim. Like I don't have that in me. I think a lot of people, you know, you get these ideas like, oh, I could do this. I don't have it in me. I am not a person who could like, you know, get into a cage or get into an arena and like straight up fight someone. So for someone to like look at that, like, yeah, I got this. I'm like, evolution has got that out of my brain because we are not in that fight stage. We don't have that.
Yeah. I mean, it's you know, I guess there's just levels of like what you're willing to accept to put yourself through in order to, I mean, I don't know if it's like, I mean, is it like chasing glory? Maybe a little bit, but like, I think there's tiers to it. What's acceptable to certain people. So, you know, you have people that come in the gym and me, I see so many different kinds of people because that's what I do all day. I'm the first person someone sees in jiu-jitsu when they come into the school. So, you know, I see people that want to do just recreation. They just want something fun. I see people that are like obsessed with MMA and they think they're going to be MMA fighters. And after 2 classes, they're like, oh no, I do not want to be an MMA fighter. Right. There are people that are, you know, victims of abuse or assaults that want to come in and defend themselves. I mean, there's so many different reasons to do jiu-jitsu and to do Muay Thai or MMA. And just, I think ultimately like the value in it becomes just the empowerment. So however they want to do jiu-jitsu to get that feeling, I'm here to support that. Right. So it's like, if you want to do MMA and you want to fight, like I'm going to do my best to support you as a coach. If you want to come in and just have fun and like mess around with your friends, I'm here to support you as a coach.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think there's a lot of like, well, if you're not going to do it like this and you shouldn't do it at all. And it's like, who cares if they want to come in and just do forward rolls and be really bad at rolling? I don't care. It's their practice. You know what I mean?
That's the one thing I was, I think we can agree on is like the great thing about jiu-jitsu. Like I did say like jiu-jitsu is not for everyone, as in like everyone on the street isn't going to want to do jiu-jitsu. But I will say the good thing about what I'm learning about this sport is there are multiple ways for people to be involved in the sport. Like you said, you could be training in different ways. You could start a business within the jiu-jitsu scope and never train. So there's different ways that you can be a part of the jiu-jitsu community or in the jiu-jitsu bubble that, you know, doesn't mean you're trying to be the next world champion.
For sure. Yeah.
So
and I think most people aren't going to be that. And that's okay. You know what I mean?
Most people won't compete. Like most people, that's just not, not their thing.
70% of people probably do it either 0 to 1 time. I mean, I think that depends on the environment of the school too. Like we're not big on pushing it at our school. So, we probably have less competitors than maybe we would.
I think I'm the most active competitor in my school, and I only compete like maybe 4 times a year, maybe 4 or 5.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot. I'm like,
that's where I cap it, because I have a space. Normally this would be like the tail end of when I compete. I compete from like February to April. I mean, February to like August, and I'm done because I don't want to do anything else.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame you at all. Yeah, I think it's like even doing jiu-jitsu full time, like it's not. There's like ebbs and flows for what you're interested in. You know what I mean? Like I have been doing jiu-jitsu what I would as a job since I was a purple belt, and you're talking about at least 6 years ago, I guess 5.5 years ago, something like that. So I mean, like there are times where I hate jiu-jitsu. Like I'm like, I don't want to do jiu-jitsu. I don't want to go teach this private lesson. I don't feel like it. How many times I gotta tell somebody to get the underhook? Oh my God. Like, you know what I mean? Like
stop going for arm bars. You're not gonna get that head and arm throw.
Yeah, like I've been telling you, don't do it like that. And you don't listen, and it's like how it just like that with competition. Some people fall in love with it, they love the rush of it, whatever it is. Some people try it once, they hate it. And I think jiu-jitsu is just that way. And I really think what we need to do as coaches and school owners and facilitators of jiu-jitsu is to make it okay for people to do jiu-jitsu however they want to do jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like with not being an animal, of course.
Yeah, like, don't be a douche.
You can't come in and headbutt everybody. That's not right.
Yeah. That's so being a female coach and being a female black belt, as you've like gone through like the process, you said you've been teaching somewhere since you were a purple belt. How's that progress been? Like, what has that been like for you, like coming into your own as a coach and as a owner?
Not without challenges, but also I feel like I've had some great support. So for me, like I was a super eager blue belt. And my school, when I started, there were a couple women, amazing. They're all great. I'm still friends with them to this day, most of them. And there was no women's only training. There was no like, they were just kind of there, right? Like we're there. And it wasn't like weird or abnormal or normal or anything. It's just like, here's some girls that we train, right? And for me, I was like, no, like we got to make this big. Like, why aren't there more women here, right? In a school of like, I don't know how, let's say there was 100 people. How come there's only 4?
Yeah.
Like, there should be 40. Like, this is for women, right? So remember, like, you get sold on jiu-jitsu because it's the smaller and weaker opponent. And I'm like, well, where are all the small, weak ones, right? Like, where is everybody? So initially it was started with like this quest for like more women. Okay. Where can I find these women that want to do jiu-jitsu? And so I begged Phil and Rick. I was like, please let me do a women's only class. Like, I didn't want to teach a class. I didn't know shit. I was a blue belt. I only know how to do a cut pass and an Americana.
Hey, competition's been won with less.
That's still all I do too, right? But like, so that was my initial thing. I was like, get the girls on board. Let's do this women's meetup. And which is to this day, the same day. Like, we moved it up by 1 hour, but the class is still going strong. And then I used to think, as a newer teacher, like, okay, like my quest to give back to jiu-jitsu is going to be women's jiu-jitsu, right? And I was like, no, what can I do to further that? Like, how can I make it normal for women to teach co-ed classes? How can it be, what can we do to push this further, right? Because women teaching a women's only class, women teaching the kids classes, it's pretty common, right? Pretty common. Going on a Friday night no-gi at 7 p.m. and the head coach is a female, not super common, right? And so that became my next. I was like, oh, no, now we're going to go. Let's take this further. Not just for myself, but for my girls, for my purple belts now, right? Like, now we have female teachers teaching multiple classes. Could it be better? For sure. There's only so many classes. I don't know about your school, but somebody basically has to like quit to get a job teaching. You know how jiu-jitsu is. So there's not that many classes to teach, but right now, you know, we have several females teaching the beginners classes, myself teaching the advanced classes. So yeah, it was more like, how can we create an environment where women come in and they see successful women, right? Like, here's a successful woman. She's not just like, oh, she's a black belt for a girl, or she's a purple belt for a girl. It's just like, please.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and nobody's harder on the women
than other women
than I am. Like, nobody. Like, so, and now we have, oh my gosh, we must have, I would say we have 40 women.
What?
We have about 25 that are like super active.
Okay. So I'm coming since COVID's over. Cool.
Yeah. So yeah, please do. I mean, there's nights where the women's class on Monday night is 16 women.
It's awesome.
I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing to see. And the most amazing part for me is that I have very little involvement in the crew. Like, I'm with the crew, but I'm also the coach of everybody. So it's not the same as it used to be. So to me, it's great to see the other women be empowered, for them to take responsibility for, you know, taking on new students, taking on the new women and making them feel comfortable. So I think the big thing for me, and we, you know, kind of touched on this before we started, is like, how do I even create an environment for women? Right? So I went to a women's camp. I'm sure you know Emily Kwok and Val Worthington. They have a groundswell grappling camp. And Lecca Vieira was one of the coaches. She was like the guest coach of it. And she was like, remember we had like a roundtable discussion, and one of the girls asked like, well, you know, these girls come in and like, they think it's going to be easy, and I show them it's not easy, and then they quit. And it's like, Lecca was like, well, what are you doing to make them stay?
Yeah.
So I think what I heard was like, it's not my job to tell them jiu-jitsu is hard.
Yeah.
Right? Like, we know it's hard. It's not for everybody, right? We just had this conversation.
Physical activities are typically hard.
And it's also super emotional, right?
Yeah.
Like, you're going to get pushed in a lot of different ways. And especially for women, like, we're coming from a society that tells us that we're weaker, that we don't have as much fortitude. We're not meant for combat. We're supposed to be staying home and baking bread.
Keep your aggression to a minimum.
Baking bread is awesome. I bake a lot of bread. But you know what I mean? So I think one of the things that I try to set an example of is to be a source of support. It's not my job to show you like, well, crossface is a crossface, and I'm going to crossface you the same way I crossface this guy. Yeah. And that's true. But also you got to build up to that.
Absolutely.
Right? You can't have, like, some of my girls are 100 pounds wet. I mean, they're tiny little things, and they can scrap, man. They're tough. They're tougher than a lot of dudes, you know, mentally. So it's like, I think that value in showing them that they can do it and being a support for them in that aspect is so important. And it's more important than showing them that, like, jiu-jitsu is hard.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? Like, we know it's hard. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything for anybody, but I don't have to make it harder. So
yeah.
For example, let's say it's a girl's first night of rolling, right? And I see her and I know she's scared to ask people. I'm going to ask her to roll. And I'm going to tell her who's cool to roll with. I'm going to go encourage other people to ask her to roll and say, this is her first night. She's terrified.
Yeah.
Go roll with her. You know what I mean? And you create an environment for everybody when you're like that, as a coach, as a leader, whatever, instead of being like, well, if she's too scared and she's going to sit up against the wall, that's on her. And I've seen it many times. I've seen it with guys and girls, but, you know, I think for women, it's especially intimidating to come to a space where you're like, okay, everybody's wrestling. They're all bigger than me. Like, and I'm usually bigger than the girls too, right? So I'm like,
bigger than some of the guys.
Bigger than some of the guys, for sure. So it's like, I get it. And I try to be a little bit more empathetic. And then, especially than I was, I think, at like a more immature belt level, at a more immature space in my jiu-jitsu, where I was kind of that person, like, well, if you're not going to train hard, right? And it's like, you know what? One good surgery will take you right out of that mindset. Right?
You know, what I've noticed is like, you're talking about the whole, we're trying to like build each other up, and we're trying to create this community where people feel welcome there. I do think sometimes when you're newer in your jiu-jitsu journey, you have to fight that urge to think of the other women in your space as like your rivals.
Yeah.
In the regard that there's like a natural pairing off that happens in jiu-jitsu classes when it's low women. It's like you and this other person, so you know you're going to go up against this person time and time again.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, we come from a society that we often we pit each other against them. Like there's room for one woman in this in this area. I think one of the good things, and let me know if your thoughts on this as well, of getting having a strong female presence in your gym, is it breaks down that mentality, because now it's not you versus the other girl, it's you in a room of 10, 15 other women. So now it's less about a challenge, more about getting better together.
Exactly. And I think that is so important. Just when you're, one of a small group of women in your school and you're trying to build a team program, right? The best thing I see in my women's group is that you can go nuts on each other and train hard and still hug it out at the end. Like, I don't know how many times I've got off the mat after a hard match with somebody, like a guy, and been like, fuck this guy.
Oh, yeah.
But when I go myself, I'm like, all right, you're going to dig in my face a little bit like that? That's cool. Because when you're on, I'm going to do it with you. You know what I mean? So it's like, I think there's a commiseration and a camaraderie that you're not going to get from anybody else. It's people that understand where you're coming from. And it's not always about being small. And that's sort of where it gets me a lot, because I face a lot of the same challenges as women, regardless of my size. Right. So there's still guys that don't want to roll with me because I'm a girl. And the reasons have changed. Right. Before, when you're less skilled, it's because maybe they don't want a boring match. Maybe they don't want to let you move around. And then sometimes when you're more skilled, it becomes about the fear of getting physically dominated by a female. Right. And I mean, I get it a little bit. Just to be
See, I keep telling, like, when I like to talk about like self-help, self-care and all that. And one of my biggest thing is like, self-care is not linear. You're going to be doing all this. Cause like just 2 weeks ago, I had a full breakdown when I was braiding my hair, because I was like, I don't know how to do this. This is stupid. Like, I don't want to do anything. And then like 3 days later, I was back to like, let's do an interview.
So. No, it's so true. It's so true. And I think too, it's like, no, like, when did we like forget to be kind to ourselves and like allow ourselves the space to like grow and be better, but also take steps backwards. Yep. Right. Which I think maybe we probably should have talked about this on the podcast, but it's the same thing with like, like losing weight, gaining weight, all those things. It's like, when did we start? Like, I've gone through periods where I've woken up, and for weeks at a time, the first thing I thought was, well, you ate like shit yesterday. Right? Weeks at a time. Yeah. Why do we have to actively pursue being kind to ourselves? Why is the natural setting like, you're a piece of shit because you ate a piece of cake? You know what I mean? Like,
we have this is going to go on our podcast hub, which was supposed to just be one podcast. I just never, I never got it kicked up. I actually finally got someone who's going to do it with me, whether she knows it or not. We're going to start it. But one of the topics that we're going to talk about is self-compassion.
I love that. Yeah.
I feel that like, especially with like women in jiu-jitsu, is we are so great for rooting for other people, but not for ourselves.
For sure. Yeah.
We offer so much kindness to other women who come into the sport, but we put ourselves under like a microscope, and like we judge ourselves so harshly, and we don't give ourselves the benefit of the doubt. And yet we expect everyone else to be like, no, you're fantastic, you're wonderful, and you look at yourself like, oh my god, look at my stomach, I did not need that other taco.
You can't even accept the compliment anymore.
Exactly.
It's amazing. Like, so many, there's so many times where I have like talked people off a ledge about being harsh on themselves as a coach, as a mentor, And then I'm like, if you could just apply 10% of that reasoning to yourself, you would be so much better space personally. But I never take my own advice. Like, would you say that to one of your students? And I'm like, no, I would never say that. I would never look at somebody in the mirror and be like, what do you do? You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. But yeah,
I never thought like I never took a lot of stock into like the what is the thing you do? Oh my God, the word's like slipping me when you like affirmations.
Yeah.
I never took much stock into them. I thought they were like so corny and so cheesy.
Well, yeah, because it sounds like all like namaste and like you're like, no.
But like the first time I really like, you know what, I'm gonna try to do this for X amount of time. And it was just something simple as like, you're a good person, you're capable of good things, like like you can you're trying to do better than you are, and that's good enough. And like the first couple of times that I did that, the first time I did it, not like, okay, you're a good person, like I sat and I looked in a mirror and actually said it, I started crying because like, oh my God, I don't believe this about myself.
No, it's really
how can I expect anyone else to look at me if I can't, like looking at myself in a mirror and being like, you're worthy of happiness. I was like, am I? Like, oh,
no, it's hard.
8 o'clock in the morning, burst out crying. Like, oh my God, am I worthy of happiness?
And then what starts to happen is because you have that narrative going on in your brain, other people express like love and joy for you, at you, with you. And you're like, is that real? Should I? You really think that about? And you don't believe it, right? Because you're like, oh, this is. There was an
ongoing thing. Yeah. There was an ongoing thing where I used to say that like I don't have emotions, and not like not in a cold way, but like in a I was never a super comforter. Like I don't comfort people well. I'm better than I was, but I wasn't like that. Like I don't express emotions very well on like an intimate level. And it was a joke. They're like, oh, well, towards like, no, I have no feelings toward this. It was a joke. And then as I got older, I realized it like I don't allow myself to feel certain emotions because of the vulnerability or because I don't feel that way about myself. So I don't like, I've learned this through my own self. Like, I don't feel that way about myself. I didn't feel that way about myself. How can I expect someone else to feel that way about me? Because they couldn't possibly.
Yeah.
So that
it's super real. It's like, it's one of those things where it's just, sometimes it's a defense mechanism for the way that others treat you. Like I know, like coming up in like a male dominated industry in the culinary field, then again in jiu-jitsu is like, I can fake it till I make it all day. And then I get in my car and sob.
Yeah.
And be like, this is too much. I can't have the weight of all of women's jiu-jitsu on my shoulders. You know what I mean? Like I can't deal with all of that. And then like, you know, you do get this, because I think I can put this off myself, that kind of feeling where you're like, suck it up, big boy, you'll be fine. You know what I mean? And then in the meantime, I'm like, if that was happening to me, I would be crying.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? And then I'm like, oh, I get, like, it's so funny because there's so many dynamics. Like you can be so good. It's like, okay, so here's a perfect like jiu-jitsu example. So I can walk by a match, right? It's like my two of my purple belts are going, and I'll be like, that dude needs to learn the X pass, right? And then I'll stop. I'm like, come over here. You got to learn the X pass. Like that's the one thing you're missing in that match. And then I get in a match, and then I'm like, how can I pass this guy's guard? And I literally can't even apply the same. I'm like, you should have just did the X pass.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's the same thing. And you're like, why can't you apply? It's like we gather up all these great things, and like you read and you're like, yeah, tomorrow's it's 2020 is my year. This is my year. I'm gonna do all these things. Everything's gonna be perfect. I'm gonna wake up and I'm gonna eat egg whites and not Pop-Tarts, and I'm gonna be a better person, and I'm not gonna judge this person based on these things and blah blah blah. And then you tell all these people this stuff, and then you're sitting there like, I ate the Pop-Tarts.
Yeah. And then it's like,
I don't deserve happiness.
It's like, I ate those Pop-Tarts. I have no control. I have no self. Like
exactly.
I am a failure. And I think
this is why you're the way you are.
Exactly. And I feel like that's one of the things that we really are, one of the reasons that like I started the Mighty Dames and that I started doing more personal, like Torrie the Grappler, start blogging and vlogging style things, is that for most of my life, I lived in my head, and it's so funny to see me today versus even 10 years ago, 15 years ago. I was a completely different person. It was much more internal. And what I was realizing, I think what a lot of us do is we think that we are the only one in that situation, or there is no one could possibly understand a fraction of what you're feeling. So keep it to yourself. I still do this, which I'm trying to do better. Like when I have a certain feeling, my first instinct is just to push it down. We're not feeling that right now. And as I got older, I realized how unhealthy that is.
It's so bad. Yeah. It's not an easy habit to break though. Have you ever read any of Brene Brown's books?
No.
So Brene Brown, she studies shame response in humans, right?
Oh my God, this is like right up my alley. I would love to read this.
Yeah, so she's got some great books, and the reason that I love her book, I'll send you some links, is she gives you some real tools to use. And so the gist of a lot of it is like strength and vulnerability and showing up and being seen even for your flaws, and how that actually creates human connection, right? I've had so much great advice from so many like women before me, and that's why it's such a great thing that you're having a podcast and doing this kind of stuff, because we're such a resource for each other. Because it's not that like I couldn't hear any of these like tidbits from a guy. It's just it's different. There's more of camaraderie when you're hearing it from somebody like you know what I mean? I think that's why Mighty Dames is so important, because it is a minority, and as far as jiu-jitsu is concerned, as far as women in jiu-jitsu, like it's like this small pocket of women that we're going to come across a lot of the same issues. And it's just nice to hear from somebody you're like, I've been there. I might not have the best answer on how to do something
for you.
But I got something for you. And I think that just brings it back to like, how can I create a space for women to feel confident in their jiu-jitsu? And it's by saying like, you know what, I was there, but I also got past it.
Yeah. It helps to have like a peer who can relate to you on that level. It just, certain things come better out of a certain speaker. It's just like people can say the exact same thing, but it's going to invoke a different emotion. It's going to resonate differently depending on who tells it to you. So
yeah. I think that's true.
Okay, so I see behind your shoulder, we got some goodies. So like somewhat recently, you started
6 months old.
Yeah, recently. So recently you and her husband started up a company. You had a little side hustle going on.
Side hustle. So totally random. One day Josh said to me, we should learn how to make our own candles. I don't know about you, but I'm like obsessed with candles, right? I like candles every room.
I will start this by saying I hate wax. It is a weird, gross out thing of mine. I have no candles in my house. I do not allow any form of wax.
Maybe you've never experienced a different kind of wax.
I all wax.
All right,
makes me actually.
So everybody but you.
I'm very weird on I'm very, very weird on this. Like, I don't wax my eyebrows because I don't like wax. I don't have candles because I can't do wax.
Is there something that I feel that way about? Let me think about this. Foie gras and uni. I feel that way about the texture of both. I'm just like, nah. I can't get down with that. It's luxury, but I'm like, nah.
One of my biggest things that kills me is like, if my sister, everyone else in my family loves candles. They have candles everywhere. I accidentally touch wax and it goes on my finger, literally makes me gag. But that's enough about my weirdness. Please tell us more about your business.
They're awesome. Just don't touch them or give one to Torrie. So we were just, honestly, just came out of like a desire to save a couple bucks on buying candles at first. I was like, but you don't know this about me, but I am like an all or nothing person. So if I'm like doing something, I'm just going to do it all the way, or I'm not going to do it at all. So it went from like, I'll just get like a pound of wax and make a candle and we'll just have this candle and it'd be so cool, to being like, wouldn't it be funny if we had a candle called White Belt Tears and it smelled like the tears of white belts, right? So in true Angie Vogel fashion, I had to go like 1,000% with it. And it's been amazing. It's actually an amazing little business. People seem to love it, I hope.
Yeah.
I mean, we have some repeat customers now. So, but yeah, we have, it's all jiu-jitsu inspired candles, soaps. We just came out with a cleansing spray that's like an alcohol base.
Okay. I see.
So we actually like, what's that?
Do we have some t-shirts now?
Jiu-jitsu stinks, light a candle.
There you go.
Shirts. Yeah, you know, just like a funny, you know, you have those ideas and you're like, this will never be a thing. And then but then you're in a shower and I'm like, wait, why can't this be a thing?
Mm-hmm.
It could totally be something, right?
Yeah.
So we're just like plugging along with our little 500 followers.
Well, I will say, when I saw you do candles, I was like, oh man, you know, I want to support it, but
I know
candles, man. And then
the soap,
you came out with the soaps. So I haven't done the Fruit Loop one yet, but I think I had one. I bought a couple.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what you ordered.
Was it lime? Something with lime in it. It was like a split bar.
Or something. Yeah.
Oh my, that's one of those soaps where I'm just like I'm a rag person where I need a rag, but that's the one I'm like, oh, I like this.
Luxurious.
It feels nice. So
that like we were talking about. No, I just bought like Dial soap. Now I'm like, oh, this bougie soap is much better. It's nice. It's nice. It smells so nice.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them have like little scrubbies and stuff in it too for after training.
Yes.
It's nice to kind of get some of the nasty off you when you're done rolling.
It definitely has. It makes me like. I used to do. You know, when you're younger and you like wash your face, you have that. You know, that simple like water. You just use soap and water to wash your face off. Now I kid you not, I have like a 6-part face washing station in my bathroom, and you know, it takes me like 10 minutes to wash my face every morning. But like, let me go to my sister's house and she not have it. I was like, what is this?
Yeah, you need it. Yeah.
And I'm like that. I have like 4 different types of soap in my bathroom.
This is how I feel about candles though. So I love the soap, but the candles is where it's at for me. I love smelling stuff.
Okay.
Like, ooh, this. But yeah, it's actually really fun.
What's the name?
Jiu Jitsu Candle Co.
Okay.
Super easy to Google.
Keeping it basic. You cannot mess that up.
Website's JiuJitsuCandles.com. So you can't mess that one up either. Same on Instagram, same on Facebook, Jiu Jitsu Candle Co. But yeah, I'd love for you guys to check it out. And it's been a fun project. So if you guys have any names for any candles that you want to see, what we usually do is if we choose to use your name, we send you some free stuff. So
okay, so I have to.
We're not in a position to pay money yet for ideas, but someday. Okay. Now we're offering free stuff.
What I'm hearing is like in this universe where I like candles, like I have to have a themed scent of the Mighty Dames. Yeah. So what would be a mighty scent for us?
So it's got to, okay, let's think.
What does a Mighty Dame smell like?
What is a Mighty Dame?
Positive though, not like what we know we can smell.
Not like the real smell. All right, so I'm thinking like sweet and strong. Right?
Of course.
So maybe some kind of like sandalwood, incensey, kind of floral. A little fruit maybe.
I'm feeling this. I'm liking. I like where we're going here. So
we can make you a spray.
Oh, see, I love a spray.
Yeah, we'll make you a room spray.
Oh my gosh, I love a good spray. That'd be perfect. So we're gonna brainstorm this because
I'll think on this. This would be great. Yeah, that's a great. Yes, it's a good collab. like I think. Hey now. Like, yeah.
I will pimp your stuff around. But like, we're gonna think about what we're gonna have a poll.
Yes,
Mighty Dame smell like.
What does a Mighty Dame smell like? And keep it fresh now.
Yes, keep it fresh.
Keep training, not post training. Sometimes.
Oh my God, this is gonna be so much fun. I definitely think we're gonna do this. I'm going to put a post up. I'm gonna put one up there and ask.
Amazing.
We were a scent.
Yeah. So we blend everything. Like I get like all the oils and I blend everything up, and we try to make the scents like make sense for what it is. So. You know, we have like berry bolo, which of course is berries. It's acai scented. We have freshly washed geese, which is like like a fresh laundry smell.
I gotcha.
And then we come out with like a bunch of crazy stuff. Like we have Devil's Handshake for wrist locks. And it's orange and sriracha.
So that has to be spicy.
Yeah, it's spicy like a wrist lock. Exactly.
That's awesome. Oh my God, that's, you know what? Like I said, as soon as I saw you were doing this, I thought it was amazing. I love seeing people find the path in jiu-jitsu, but I really love to see women become a business owner within the sport. Because, and besides just owning a gym, even though that's still kind of a rare thing, we don't have that many, but we're getting more. So I like that you found another nook that you could fit into the jiu-jitsu
My whole
space.
life, I just wanted to do crafts for money. And finally, I have a business where I can just do crafts.
Oh my gosh, hey, you're living the dream is what I'm hearing.
I mean, you know, honestly, I really am. I have no complaints. Like, you know, I got some aches and pains from jiu-jitsu, but I in a normal day-to-day, I get to like make some candles, do some fun stuff, roll with my friends, eat some bread, and then go to sleep. You know what I mean? Like, what more could you really ask for?
What is the meaning of life if not that?
That's what I'm saying. I mean, and then sometimes I get like miserable and I'm like, what is wrong with you? Like, you literally have a dream life. And then I'm like, it snaps me out a little bit. I'm like,
okay. I do want to ask you about something I saw on your Facebook page, and you've kind of alluded to this a couple other times. So I was scrolling, you know, as I do before I interview someone. I saw an album. I was like, well, this is my shit. Social distancing food album.
Oh, yes.
Oh, my God. Now, I'm going to add a picture of this, but I saw some garlic dill pickles that looked amazing.
I make a good pickle.
Make a good pickle.
Make a good pickle. So let me preface by saying that I went to culinary school in 1987.
Okay.
And 20 years as a professional chef.
Wow. Okay. That makes a lot of sense, because I'm like, wow, this is quality looking food.
See, like my food posts are like, oh, all right. And I'm like, well, no. You just met me at jiu-jitsu time. Mm-hmm. I had a life before jiu-jitsu. My life in jiu-jitsu was food. Mm-hmm. So I was a pastry chef. I was an executive chef for literally 20 years. I retired at 38, which was 2 years ago, like do full-time jiu-jitsu work at the gym. And I like ran bakeries. I mean, I did the work. I worked at Whole Foods for a couple years doing like the bakery. So yeah, I can cook pretty good. Yeah,
I like that. Okay, so what's your most favorite thing you've made so far in the COVID world?
So I love bread. The bread has been really fun. So what is some, you know, okay, so we got obsessed with this strawberry salad.
Okay.
Which was delicious. So I don't know like what you're into, but it was.
I love some fruit in my salad. I'm with it.
Baby spinach, red onion, strawberries, goat cheese or feta.
Love goat cheese.
Nice grilled chicken, but lemon poppy seed dressing.
Ooh.
It was delicious. It was like honey, lemon juice, olive oil, salt and pepper, poppy seeds.
Okay.
Try it. It's easy.
You know what?
For the recipe if you want it.
Okay, like one of my favorite salads that I ever had was a mango and duck salad, and it was like on some mixed greens. And I remember looking, I was like, I am not eating this. This looks disgusting. And taking one bite, like I need to order another one of these. This little side salad is not going to work for me. But
and fruit,
goat cheese as well. I love me some goat cheese now.
But yeah, mostly I get down with a lot of the breads. I just made some ube bread, like purple sweet potato bread.
Ooh.
And I'm perfecting it right now. All the purple belts are obsessed with this bread. What is it with purple that you like when you're a purple belt and you have to have like literally everything purple? I went through the same phase. And then I got my brown belt and I was like, everything looks like poop.
Everything is blah.
Yeah, you're like, brown belt. But purple belt, I had like a purple patty for like 3 years. Like I was just like, I'm just going to get my toes on purple. So I would have been all over this purple bread.
Gotcha. You would have made sandwiches for lunch and all. Yeah,
totally. Yeah, I would have bet purple. Is there purple meat? I don't think so, but maybe duck. If it's undercooked duck,
there you go. I was looking. I saw your sourdough, and I was like, "Oh, I could kill that right now." I
like tricked out my oven at home. There's like a double ceramic pizza plates.
To keep to keep it.
Yeah. I told you I'm extra. When it comes to stuff, I'm like,
Hey.
I do it 1,000% and perfect it before I move on.
Yeah. Okay. So now that we have spoken much longer than I was anticipating, but this has been fun. I've had a good time talking to you.
Yeah.
We're going to do the Mighty Minute. So like I said, the Mighty Minute is going to be 60 seconds, rapid fire questions. You want me to do about 15, 16 of them that have nothing to do with jiu-jitsu.
Okay.
I will have comments afterwards, but I would say there's no right or wrong answers, and it's going to be fun. So I'm going to start the timer after I ask the first question. Ready? What's your favorite breakfast food?
Oh, Pop-Tart strawberry.
Okay. What's your childhood celebrity crush?
Oh my God. I really can't remember having one.
We'll circle back. How long does it take you to get ready in the morning?
5 minutes.
Did you ever go to sleepaway camp?
Say it again?
Did you ever go to a sleepaway camp?
I did. It was weird.
What's your least favorite kind of music?
Heavy metal, like screaming stuff, like
Dark chocolate or milk chocolate?
dark.
First place you want to go post-COVID?
Oh, Vietnam Cafe.
Favorite cartoon growing up?
Shira.
Nike, Reebok, or Adidas?
Adidas.
How tall are you?
5'4".
Super Mario Brothers or Zelda?
Ooh, Super Mario.
Mini golf or go-karts?
Mini golf.
What's your favorite candle scent?
Oh, the unicorn.
Okay. See what kind is there?
I can't remember a crush as a kid. Am I getting old and I just don't remember?
Hey, maybe. Well, you know, I grew up in the 90s, so we had like a bunch of like, again, like looking back, I realized how extremely gay I was in my choices. So like I was overly obsessed with the Spice Girls at a very young age. And the boys that I liked typically had like very long hair.
I mean, look, you are who you are.
Hey.
And it's right? Another wrong with that.
There were signs.
No, it's probably New Kids on the Block. I
Okay.
think that would be the first boy band kind of thing. But I don't know.
Yeah, I'm
such a nerd. I just was like, what's math? I like math.
Okay, let's see here. I asked, you're 5'4"?
5'4".
I always thought you were taller. In my mind,
I have a lot of personality. Everybody says that to me.
Oh, yeah, I'm like you like 5'8"ish.
I'm like, nah, 5'4". I'm like a midget. When you put me in front of the other girls, I'm this much smaller than all of the other girls. Even the girls are like 100 pounds less than me. I'm really short. I'm really short.
Did not even think about it that way.
Everybody always says that to me.
Okay, and let's see. So what does the unicorn smell like? What is that?
It's wildflowers and cedar. Where is it? Let's see. It smells like. I just come up here and do this, by the way. It's like a lemony flowery smell. So like jasmine, lemon. There's a scent like they have that like umami scent called ozone.
Okay.
And it reminds you of like sea air, right?
Oh, okay.
And like there's that weird salty smell in the air. That's in there also.
Okay.
It's not super feminine. It's not overly feminine to me. Like I don't like really sweet.
Yeah.
But that's my favorite. I think that's my favorite candle.
Okay.
Also, it's for lady black balls, and that makes me feel
there
like
you go.
Me.
All right, let's see. What else on here do I want to know?
We did a 30-minute session on coronavirus.
Yeah, we did 30 minutes on coronavirus. We did at least 30 minutes on food.
We did 15 minutes on jiu-jitsu.
15 minutes, that's all that we needed. And then we ran through the Mighty Minute.
About how bored we are watching jiu-jitsu.
See, this is what I will also say, like my interviews during COVID are at least an hour longer than before it.
For human contact, I'm telling you, like
everyone's fine. I was like, oh, I always told like, oh, hey, it's only gonna take like an hour. So I was like, I'll try to keep your time. Like, let's just let it flow.
Yeah, just you cut it up how you see fit.
It'll work out fine. So what did you say your favorite breakfast food was?
Strawberry Pop-Tarts.
Okay. So are you
I don't eat them that much though? But like if you're asking me fast, I'm like, yeah, I gotta, they're yummy.
I am a s'mores Pop-Tart person.
I've never had those.
Oh, listen.
Now,
it's a game changer.
Pumpkin spice ones. They came out like just in October or whatever.
I refuse to do it.
I'm kind of basic. I gotta admit, like I'm definitely like a pumpkin spice latte girl. But like I was like, pumpkin spice everything.
I want it. So we have where I live, right next to it, I have a little shop, like a little strip. So there's a place called Ollie's. I don't know if you know Ollie's.
I don't think so.
It's in the same vein as a Big Lots, only cheaper.
Yeah.
So they get a bunch of breakfast cereals and Pop-Tarts and stuff like that kind of like, grab and go type of things. They're always like off a season. So right now they have like the pumpkin spice Pop-Tarts, pumpkin spice cereal.
You gotta load up now.
We have random Christmas stuff, and
I love it.
It's all completely random. And they had the s'mores, and the s'mores are a game changer.
So it's chocolate and marshmallows inside.
Yeah, and it goes in like lines. So it's a line of chocolate, a line of marshmallow. They have them at regular stores. Highly recommend. But they're the ones you have to eat hot. You can't. I was just gonna cold ones
hot
now.
Or cold, because strawberry you could totally have cold.
Yeah, but like to me, you can't have a cold s'more. To get the s'more, that's why I never they have like s'more cereal too.
Yeah,
it has to be warm. So
maybe my name smells like s'mores.
Hey, I mean, to be honest, there are worse things that someone could tell me than I smell like a s'more.
Chocolate and marshmallows. I mean, I'm okay with that.
I'm not mad at it.
I love it. Perfect.
All right. Yay.
All right. So enjoy the rest of your day.
And you as well.
Thank you.
Tell the hubby I said hello.
I shall. I kept him banished out of the room.
He got kicked out.
Yeah. I was like, no, it's loud. Sorry.
There you go. Yeah, thank you again. And like I said, I know we're gonna chat again.
Yeah, thanks for doing all this stuff. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Bye.
Okay, bye. Thank you.